What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And over on YouTube yesterday, we had a rejoin from Dalton Grady. Thank you so much for your support. You know it means the world to me, and for everyone for taking the time out of your day to be here. Absolutely incredible level support. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Throwaway Bikini Body. Am I the arsehole for not forgiving my friend over what she said about my body? I'm at a bit of a war with myself because I've been called petty before, and I hold grudges. So I know these things are part of my personality, but I don't know if I'm overreacting and taking it too far. So I, 31 female, was looking for bathing suits online with my friend 30 female. We're getting into a beach season where we are, and COVID restrictions have been lifted in our area. I have 2 young kids, and as you can imagine, stretch marks on my stomach, thighs and breasts. I mean, nothing too crazy or severe, but I think, looking at me, you can tell I've been pregnant. I have a mixture of 1-piece bathing suits and 2-piece sets. That day, I happened to be looking at 2 pieces. My friend, who has a history of being also helpful and honest, asked me why I was looking for 2-piece suits. I showed her the picture of the current suit I had loaded up on a website, a cute bikini set with high-rise bottoms. I said I thought I'd look decent in it. Friend says, but you have stretch marks all over and you have the mum pouch. You should probably look for a 1-piece to cover yourself up. My defenses went up, but I calmly replied, okay, well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say most people have some form of stretch marks somewhere on their body, be it from pregnancy, sudden weight gain or loss, etc. Friend then says, but you won't look sexy at the beach when we go. And I said, I guess I'm not looking to be sexy, I'm married, I'm not there to pick up guys, I just want to tan my back and tummy at the beach. She says, just because lots of people have stretch marks doesn't make them pretty to look at though. I was silent. Then she says, isn't that what you said? That even if something is common or popular, it doesn't mean it's good. I knew exactly what she was quoting me on. Wanna know, Redditors? Ages ago, a group of us were discussing politics and history and blah blah, and at one point in the conversation I said Hitler won the popular vote. Just because he rose to power doesn't mean he was right. Y'all, she made a comparison between Hitler and stretch marks being unsightly. After a long pause I said, I guess we won't be going to the beach together then. I wouldn't want to subject you to my disgusting body. She rolled her eyes at me and said, ugh, don't take it to the extreme, I was just trying to be helpful, people will stare. The rest of our visit was quiet and awkward, and I'm still miffed. She's trying to pretend nothing happened, but I've been distant. She texted me, seriously, you're blowing this out of proportion. I'm not apologising for something I said with good intentions. And yeah, I guess that's it. I'm pissed off and not really as friendly as normal. Am I being too petty? Am I blowing it out of proportion? Am I the arsehole? Edit, you guys, I've been flooded with so many comments, chats and messages telling me not to take her comments to heart and wear whatever bathing suit makes me happy, and that's precisely what I intend to do. Thank you guys so much for the kindness. A question that popped up multiple times, why am I her friend? I'm not really sure by this point, honestly. I guess because of history, familiarity, I don't know, been friends 6 years or so. I'm okay with my body. I mean, sure it'd be cool if I was a bit more toned and didn't indulge in that slice of cake the other day, but I'm not going to hide myself away and wear a burlap sack in the confines of my house for the rest of my life. And I agree with the commenters most of the time. No one's even looking at you anyway. Hitting the beach with my husband and kiddos, y'all. Peace out. Absolutely. As soon as she said indulging on that cake, I was with her all the way as well. Say it with me in the comments. Cake is life.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
And what kind of friend is that? Who talks to their friend that way to bring him... Well, they weren't trying to bring him down. Apparently it was good intentions. But who says that sort of stuff? You don't try to bring friends down in any way, shape or form. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a toxic person in my eyes. So you get that 2-piece if you wanted to. Hit the beach and just enjoy life. Fuck any haters. But administration this 77 says not the arsehole and your friend is an idiot. People will not be standing around staring at you. People have stretch marks, it happens. Those are not visual affront to others. And your friend wasn't being honest about anything, save for how shallow she is. My Home on Whore Island says, not the arsehole. This brought to mind something I read recently. Most people who say they aren't brutally honest seem more interested in the brutality than the honesty. Your friend is an arse. Enjoy the beach with a better friend. And Princess Am says, I'm assuming your friend wants to pick up guys at the beach and thinks your stretch marks will somehow detract from that, or possibly give away her age. Fuck that noise. You rock your two-piece and your stretch marks. I wish more people would. You know what you'll look like in a two-piece on the beach? Stretch marks and all? Confident. Not the arsehole. Tell your friend to pound sand while she's at the beach. Maybe then she'll learn that good intentions for herself is not the same as good intentions for you. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for telling the guy trying to get in my wife's pants to go screw? My wife and I are working through a divorce. Last fall, we decided to end our marriage. I went for a hike with my 10-year-old son, his friend, and the friend's dad, who we're called Leonard. Leonard is divorced. I asked him for some advice on how to handle some of the common issues with the situation. The following weekend, as I'm moving into my new apartment, he asked my wife to go on a hike with my son, his son, and our two other kids. My wife agreed, as she said it would likely be easier to let me get moved out without a circus around. As the fall gets into winter, Leonard begins texting her frequently, arriving at the house for the boys to play unannounced, and continues to invite my wife and the kids on hikes and outings. It's gotten to the point where they are seeing each other frequently and constantly texting. My wife claims that there is nothing going on, of which I am suspect. Last week, as he was making dinner at the house, he has been over for many happy hours as well. I stopped in to drop off some of our kids' belongings. This dipturd had the balls to ask me to go skiing with him, his son and mine the next day. I said, hell no, you are actively laying the groundwork to get in my wife's pants. I will ultimately wish that she finds the happiness she deserves, but I am not quite there yet. Frankly, I'm upset that you're pushing the fucking boundary so badly. You are being a relationship vulture. We are technically still married. No kids heard me, only Leonard and my wife. He did not have a response. He muttered and looked down sheepishly. My wife blew up at me, claiming that I had no right to tell her who to see, that I should not judge her relationships, that she has a right to do whatever she wants. I kept my mouth shut to her on that matter until then, not judged her, nor ever told her who she can or cannot see at any point in our 15 years together. Am I the arsehole here? And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a mix of comments on this one for reasons that I got in my head, and I want to cover those. So we're going to go straight to the comments with Son of the Gunderson saying, man, I've gone through divorce, it sucks. Emotions are running high, but you're the arsehole, yeah. He's being a vulture, but she won't be your wife soon. It just be like that sometimes. Sorry, man. And Glaxon Flux says, you get absolutely zero say in your ex-wife's romantic relationships. It doesn't matter if you're not ready to see her in a relationship, it only matters if she's ready. You could have just said no instead of being rude and out of line. You're the arsehole. And Starchy Tuber says, you're the arsehole. Sounds like your divorce is almost finalized, so your comments were rude and out of line. It's human to feel a bit jealous or unsettled when an ex moves on, but you deal with that by venting to a friend or therapist, not by trying to dictate who your ex can spend time on. It's also possible that this guy is trying to bubble with your family. Since he's an only child, it's hard to socialize kids right now, with a lot of schools still closed. Get over yourself. And Arabic Toenails says, honestly, no one's an arsehole here. You're not the arsehole for not wanting to be around a guy who wants to get all up in your soon-to-be ex-wife. Of course, you wouldn't want to go on a hike with him, that's hella awkward. I get your frustration, that you could have been more polite about it, but I give you a pass because how weird the situation is, and you're going through a lot right now. He is not the arsehole because yes, he's probably trying to get into her pants, but you're getting divorced anyways, and he's probably lonely too, considering he's divorced. Dude's just shooting his shot. She's about to be single soon anyways. Your ex-wife is not the arsehole because again, you guys are getting divorced. She's an adult who is allowed to do what she pleases with her life, and if it makes her happy, she can go for it. She's allowed to move on. And Lord of the Low End says, not the arsehole. I don't understand why people are acting like you think you have a say in your ex's sex life. You simply don't want this guy to be swooping in behind your back and acting like you're buds to your face. Him being two-faced to you is a personal affront. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation, and what would you do in it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Gio. Am I the arsehole for refusing to take responsibility for putting my parents in an early grave? My dad passed away a month ago from a heart attack. My mum passed away almost 2 years ago as well. They are both in their 60s. I have a history of drug addiction as I spent time in prison for distribution of narcotics. My parents tried their best, however, they eventually had to cut me off entirely and I went into prison. They only visited me once when I was inside. When I got out, my mum died about 2 months later. At the time, I'd slipped back into old habits and my older brother refused to let my parents see me like this and tried to let them know what I was doing while saving them the grisly details. When my mum died, I went to the funeral under the influence and my brother pulled me aside and said that my dad had noticed and that I needed to get my shit together. A month ago, my dad passed away as well. We had a small service last week with him, myself and my aunts. I've been on and off sober over the past few months, currently on the sober train now. I went out for a smoke after the service and my brother followed. I could tell he had something to say to me, so I just stayed quiet and let him talk. He said that mum and dad worried themselves into an early grave because of me and that their deaths were on my conscience and I should take responsibility for something in my life for once. I told him that I understood why he was upset, but that their deaths were not my fault. He practically spat in my face at that point and I just stubbed out my smoke and figured it was probably a good idea for me to leave. Am I the arsehole for refusing responsibility? I don't think their deaths were my fault, but I know that I caused them so much anguish. And we'll start off with Alley Cat saying, "You didn't cause them to die, but man do I feel for your brother. It was so selfish of you to show up to your mum's funeral under the influence. I watched my Grammy die 2 weeks ago, and when I got back to my house my mum was shit-faced, so I have an idea of how your brother feels. Quit being a dick, but no, at the end of the day, your brother's wrong, you didn't actually cause their deaths. He's probably just got a shit ton of misplaced anger at you." And JBH says, "You're the arsehole. Nobody will ever know for sure whether your addiction was the thing that killed them, and nobody ever will know. You and he both need to come to peace with that. Your role here is to listen and empathize with your brother, not deny things." And the Holy says, "I'm going to have to say, no one's an arsehole here. Your brother has the right to be angry and he is absolutely right in saying that you should take responsibility for straining your relation with your parents and very possibly affecting their deaths. He's not an arsehole for that, however, substance usage is also your choice and your decision, and though I'm sure your parents were 100% validated in worrying about you, you're in no way an arsehole for an addiction. Should you seek help and work on fixing it if you want to become sober? Absolutely, but you are by no means an arsehole from suffering from substance abuse and an addiction. I'm sorry that it doesn't seem like you've gotten the help you need." And now I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Positive Drummer 3662. "Am I the arsehole for telling my wife, 'You made your bed, now lie in it'? Throwaway. My wife, 27 female, and I, 30 male, have been together for 8 years and we have 3 children. 7 male, 6 male, 5 male. To be blunt as possible, my mother is an arsehole. I don't know why she is this way. She just has always been an arsehole. Eventually, her behavior caused basically a whole family to cut contact with her, including me, my siblings, my dad, grandparents, etc. For basically my whole marriage, I've told my wife to not have a relationship with my mum, since it won't end well. But ever since the start of last year, she decided she wanted to have a relationship with her. My wife's mother died when she was young, so she never had a mother figure in her life, so she was probably looking for a mum to be a replacement mum towards her. Of course, I told her it won't be a good idea, but she insisted. As you can expect, it didn't go well for her. I remember crying like 4 times a month due to my mother, and of course, I told her to cut contact with my mother and move on with her life every time. A few days ago, my mother asked my wife if she could borrow $6,000 from her since she was struggling financially that year. Of course, I told my wife that was a terrible idea and not to do it, but she did it anyway. My mum ended up completely cutting contact with my wife once she got the money, and I think, might not be true, is planning on moving in with a friend in a different state. My wife was of course absolutely destroyed emotionally. I told her that she made her bed and now has to lie in it, and should have listened to me. I was talking to my best friend, 30 male, also my wife's older brother, about the situation and brought up my response. He called me selfish and said I should be more empathetic to my wife. Am I the arsehole? I don't think there's ever really a place, not very many times, where I told you so is ever going to work out in a good way. In my opinion anyway. But I don't think I'm going to call you an arsehole just for that though. Because let's face it, as the story says, they've all got no contact with her, and there's obviously going to be a valid reason for them all to go no contact with mother in this situation, that she is abusive, and the way she stole $6,000 just like that shows the type of person she is. But at the same time, I it's always in me, I can't help but feel to have some sort of empathy towards the wife in her situation. And I do wonder if it's some kind of grief from her childhood, not having a mother figure in her life, and that's what she wanted. And even OP says it in this story himself. So I do feel sorry for the wife. Yes, it was a silly move which she done, but at the same time, she was reaching out, and it sounds like she's in some kind of pain trying to find that figure in her life. And I don't think "and I told you so" is an appropriate response at that time, rather than just, say to your wife you love her and you understand what she's going through and you're sorry this happened to you, but this is the way your mother is. But that is just my opinion. Monkey Wrench says, your wife thought she knew better than you. The son of the woman she warned against having a relationship with. She didn't listen. She thought she knew better, and now she is $6,000 poorer and wants sympathy from you. Nope, you told her exactly what was going to happen. She didn't listen, and now she has a bed to lie in. I'm assuming you guys have separate finances, and if that is so, I strongly urge you not to give your wife $6,000 for this giant ass mistake. Your mother doesn't get a free pass on debt she owes, and your wife has to pay her idiot tax. And Veni Vidi Vici says, I think you missed something here very important, and I suggest you pay attention. I think your wife is still grieving for her mother. She's probably very vulnerable and needed a comfort maternal role in her life. Yes, she definitely chose the wrong one, and yes, you warned her, but you should have suggested something else. She is trying to process her grief. Be aware that's what it is, and she was just rejected. That's like losing her mother twice. You're right, no one's arguing that with you, but I think there's a time to shove that home and a time to just hold your wife and tell her you understand, and find her a grandma or a baby to hold for Pete's sake. And L Catman says you told her several times that getting involved with your mother is a bad idea. Sometimes people have to learn the hard way. Not the arsehole. Also, small claims court, get that money back. And Tale of the Crack Fox says, not the arsehole. I would be disgusted if my boyfriend tried to have a relationship with my abusive mother. I cut her off 5 years ago for the good of my own mental health. Your girlfriend wanted to see her in the first place is just fucking selfish. She was probably naive and didn't realize how horrid people can be. She didn't believe you. She didn't trust you as her husband. Sucks she lost all that money, but it's her own fault. You warned her. Why are you with her? And Saint Elvis says everyone sucks here. Told you so is rarely the correct response in relationships. Rarely to the point it might as well be never. Ella Muck, says not the arsehole, your spouse who ignored your going low contact with your toxic mother to form her own relationship with the toxic mother-in-law makes Pikachu faces when her mother-in-law is toxic. Does this sub not remember the post the other day where a spouse wanted to engineer reconciliation with a toxic bio family? Where there's family toxicity, the partner whose family it is gets to decide how to deal. I'd be pissed as hell if my now ex, but at the time partner, ignored my pain and advice, re toxic fam to establish a relationship. OP is not at all saying they controlled their partner, just saying that they advised against it and now can't be the consoler when their partner reaped what they sowed. Now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? Bit of a mix of comments there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now our next story comes from Tart Large. Am I the arsehole for throwing out my husband's dinner? My husband could burn cereal, so I do all the cooking in the household, although he does balance the division of labour out pretty well with the other chores. The problem is that he is chronically late for dinner. We agreed months ago to have dinner at 6:30 every night and to try to get the problem under control. But he hasn't helped at all. Every day he gets home from work at 5:30. I remind him that dinner will be ready in exactly 1 hour and to make sure he is ready. Every single day he sits down at the table 10 to 20 minutes late. Every single day he yells down, "I'll be down in just a second," from his computer room while I'm sitting there watching my food get cold. Sometimes I say fuck it and start eating my portion after it's clear that he's not going to be on time, which he is indifferent to, mildly annoyed about, depending on the day. Yesterday afternoon, he texts me that we need to push back dinner to 7:30 tonight because he is going to be working late. I say I'm okay with that, but he needs to be on time. He says of course. He gets home at 6:45 while I am making dinner. At 7:20, I give him a heads up that he needs to be ready in 10 minutes. At 7:30, I put food on the table. He yells down, sorry, I'm literally coming in 1 minute. At 7:35, I pick up his plate and empty it into the garbage. At 7:45, he comes downstairs and asks where his dinner is. I tell him I threw it out because he couldn't be bothered to be on time. He says, are you fucking serious? What am I going to eat? And I say, whatever you make. He throws a fit and ends up eating a handful of granola bars from the pantry and slept in the spare bedroom last night, and it's been radio silence all day today. I know I only waited 5 minutes, but something about last night just made me snap. Like, it's not bad enough that he's never ready on time, but he makes me wait even on a day he specifically requested a certain time. I get home at 5 every day, so I almost have no time to relax when I get home from work, while he has an hour every day to unwind, and he still leaves me sitting at the table waiting for him. During his fit, he told me I was being petty throwing out his food, that it was a performance and I could have just eaten my meal without touching his food, and that I'm in the wrong for wasting food. I haven't stopped thinking about this situation all day, and I don't know where I stand. Edit, I really appreciate all of the comments. I definitely have a lot to think about. My husband came home today with a combo meal, which he ate in the spare bedroom. I made dinner just for myself, and I've been downstairs on my phone reading this thread and thinking about the situation. He has not said anything to me since yesterday evening. And we'll start with Esther in Time saying, not the arsehole. I suspect there are going to be dozens of Puritans in this thread saying, you're the arsehole or everyone sucks here for wasting food. As if one discarded meal is even a blip on the radar of arseholitude. I threw out an almost full package of cookies the other day because I didn't like how they tasted. Shit happens. The point you were making to your husband was much bigger than the importance of a single meal going to waste. Honestly, if he doesn't see how he is in the wrong for being so late, I think it's time to switch to a system where everyone makes their own dinner. If he can't cook, he can learn. If he thinks that's bullshit, he can be on time. And Disney Foodie says, not the arsehole, what the fuck is your husband doing that is so important that he can't come downstairs to eat dinner at a certain time? This is a problem people typically have with children, not grown-ass adults. If he can't learn to respect the time and energy you put into having meals ready for him at a specific time of day, he can make the meals himself. And it always says, not the arsehole, stop waiting for him, make dinner and eat without him. He can eat his dinner cold, then he can also figure out how to make up for the couple time you are missing. An excrement thief says, not the arsehole, and to fully jump to conclusions, you'll need to separate. You've made it clear you need quality time with your partner, and that's completely valid. He's not fulfilling your emotional needs, yet you're bending over backwards to accommodate his needs. From what I've gathered from your comments to other people, you've gone to counselling and established that there are issues, and he hasn't held up his end of the bargain. It's asinine he gets to come home and decompress while you're still on the job by maintaining the household. The issues here run much deeper than you reacting rashly one time. Also, fuck the people being pedantic about you wasting a single plate of food, as if no one has eaten more than they really needed to consume, as if no one throws away the scraps on their plate, as if no one's thrown out some leftovers that went bad. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation, and did OP overreact? Didn't they overreact? Are they going to split up from this? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories. And if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And if you're feeling extra spicy today, you can join the channel by clicking that join button down below for YouTube, or clicking the link in the description for Patreon and joining up there. It's super helpful for the channel, and I can't express that enough. And just thank you for the time out of your day for being here. It's absolutely crazy. It still blows my mind that people are listening from all over the world. Crazy, crazy stuff. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.